So this is the end zone that Juwan Jennings ran to on the 42-yard touchdown from Mack Jones in this rather dramatic 49ers 26-21 win over the Saints. I talked about the 6-out save, the closing ability of Nick Bosa and of Bryce Huff, but we've got to talk about Mack, who early on he was walking out of the tunnel in this game. I was standing right there, and he cracked a joke to Kendrick Bourne, and Bourne just started laughing, and it was very clear that Mack has the command of this team in this locker room, which is super, super impressive for a QB2. 49ers upgraded that spot for a reason. And Mack said that Trent Williams, who also has a great story, he didn't plan to play. Wasn't planning to play when he showed up on this field at the Superdome. Mack Jones said that Trent Williams gave him some good advice.
Trent came up to me, he's like, "You're good, dude. Just go out there and hoop." And I was like, "I got you. I can go hoop." And then once he said that, I was like, "All right, let's play ball." So that was kind of cool.
So Mack Jones did indeed hoop for the 49ers. 26 of 39, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, 7.2 per attempt. Those are all really, really good numbers, especially considering that this was the backup quarterback. Now, he didn't have George Kittle as well, and that's a big thing for this 49ers offense. In fact, when they last had won here at New Orleans, it was this part of the field right here. We're looking at it where George Kittle just dragged Saints defenders for about 20 yards all the way down this sideline to set up the game-winning field goal by Robbie Gould on this goalpost. So no Kittle for the 49ers, no Ben Barch, who got hurt early in this game. Kyle Juszczyk suffered a concussion, and a bunch of 6-man defensive fronts for the Saints. They were trying to take away the run game just like Seattle tried to against the 49ers last week. It forced Mack Jones and company to truly step up in this game, and step up they did. Now, with Trent Williams, you talk about stepping up. I talked to him in the locker room. He said that he showed up on this field today not expecting to play. Suffered a very painful bone bruise last week in Seattle. And it took the stadium. I mean, just look at this place. If that doesn't get you going, I don't know what will. That's the roof of the Caesars Superdome. Feels like a modern-day Coliseum. It is the largest fixed dome structure in the world, but it took the energy of the stadium and his teammates and just the adrenaline of the game to really be ready to will through that pain. So Trent Williams was a warrior today. Obviously, he was hurting, but he still played, and I think he played significantly better than he did in week 1, and he helped guide the 49ers to this big win. We call it money in the bank. The 49ers are socking away these wins with a homestand now coming up for San Francisco. The Cardinals next week, followed by the Jacksonville Jaguars at Levi Stadium. There's a chance that Brock Purdy is back next week. Even if he's not, though, I think it has been shown that Mack Jones, more than capable in this system of delivering for the 49ers. So those are two of the things that I really learned in this locker room today. Talked about Mack Jones and Kendrick Bourne. By the way, when we talk about Mack and his swag and his ability to rally this locker room, the joke to Kendrick Bourne on his way out, well, Kendrick Bourne definitely noticed that Mack Jones was dancing along with him and dancing along with Deommodore Lenoir and Trent Williams in the pregame boombox.
That boombox line.
Yeah, I was excited, bro. Shout out Trent, shout out to the Hyena. Them boys is turned up, man. So I miss that energy, man. Things like that I took for granted. You know what I'm saying? That we're just different here, and I'm just happy to be back around it. Get you going, get your energy going, and just people having the same energy connected. It just makes it even more fun.
Now, related question, Mack, I don't know if you noticed, Mack got in at the front.
Yeah, Mack got that swag now. Don't sleep on him. I saw Kyle talking about his suit and everything, so Mack got that swag. Mack knows what he's doing. He knows how to connect with us, and I think it's super important as a quarterback.
So definitely 2019 vibes. I think Kendrick Bourne helps bring that full circle. Obviously, Mack wearing the number 10, I think, also helps hammer that home here at the Superdome. So, big picture, the 49ers defense wasn't nearly as good today as it was last week against the Seattle Seahawks. They gave up 21 points, over 300 yards of offense today. Not major allowances, right? But you saw 120 rushing yards from the Saints on 4 yards per carry. A lot more effectiveness than the Seahawks had shown on the ground against the 49ers. A couple things. A, this was a 10 a.m. start, and I think that the 49ers got a break early on when Chris Olave dropped what should have been the go-ahead touchdown very early in this game 49ers might not win this one had Olave caught that football. And then the Saints missed the subsequent field goal. Then San Francisco settled in defensively, but over the second half, New Orleans did see quite a bit of offensive success. I think big pictures, this is more of what you expected from San Francisco defensively. Some real growing pains, some struggles. Their formula this year is built around the closers on this defense, the veteran A-list pillars. So I'm talking about Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Deommodore Lenoir, Bryce Huff, who Robert Saleh has literally called Mariano Rivera in the past. They're going to have some troubles with young guys like Upton Stout, with guys like Marquise Siegel. It's not going to be all pretty. And if you thought that it was going to be after week one, where they essentially dominated the Seattle Seahawks, I think you were deluding yourself. It's going to take some recovery efforts from the 49ers closers to win some of these games, and it already has in 2 straight weeks, although last week the overall defensive performance was a sterling one. Today, a little bit more trouble for the 49ers defensively. Their blitzes weren't hitting, except for that one from Upton Stout in the first half. That was a thing of beauty when he leveled Alvin Kamara and then threw Spencer Rattler to the ground. But they really needed the bailout at the end of this game. I joked around with Nick Bosa in the locker room that the 49ers needed a 6-out save in this game. First, Bosa came out with the defense, and it was 3rd and long, and he collapsed the pocket and got to Spencer Rattler, and then Bryce Huff, the trade acquisition. Just watch the get-off. His get-off, especially in huge situations. The 49ers call this guy a closer for a reason. Robert Saleh, when they first brought him over, said this guy's a closer. He did it with the Jets. I spoke with Bryce in the locker room, and he said, in the biggest moments, I get a little bit of extra juice. I don't know exactly what it is, Huff told me, but I just have it at those biggest moments. And in the NFL, this is a league of high leverage plays. It's remarkable how it always just comes down to 3 or 4 plays over the course of a single game, no matter if a team is a 2-touchdown favorite or not. Like, it comes down to a handful of plays. Today, especially. And it was the Bosa sack on the second to last drive, and then Juwan Jennings dropped the pass on 3rd down, so the offense couldn't close it out for the 49ers. So the defense had to come back out, and it was the Bryce Huff get off and sack, just coming roaring around right tackle. Getting to Spencer Rattler was 4th and 2 at the time, and the 49ers got it done. I think that having a youthful defense, like the youthful energy that the 49ers have cultivated defensively, and combining it with veteran pillars who are good closers, is a hell of a fun combination. That's how the 49ers have built this defense. It won't be perfect, but if they can keep on socking money into the bank with these early wins on the road, which they just did over Seattle and here in New Orleans, things are going to end up looking very, very good for the 49ers at the end of the season. I think that's a very effective combination to field if you're San Francisco. And we're, I think, really seeing the vision come to fruition. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, I talked to Trent Williams about this at his locker. 49ers only managed 3 yards per carry again. Second straight week that the run defense has not had big outputs for San Francisco. Why is that? And I know they were doing better today, but then they kind of hit a wall late in the game. Well, first, obviously look at the personnel difficulties that the 49ers had. Down Kittle, down Kyle Juszczyk, down Ben Barch. They had to go to the rookie Connor Colby at left guard. But second, look what the Saints were doing defensively. Look what the Seahawks were doing defensively last week. 5-man fronts, 6-down fronts. We saw a lot of those from the Saints today. I mean, just stacking the defensive line with big bodies to force the 49ers to pass. Trent said that, it's the run game is going to be super spotty whenever a defense is playing you like that. And what you have to do in those situations is just stay at it, to stay balanced, and burn them with the pass, which is what the 49ers did. If that continues happening for San Francisco over the course of this 2025 season, which is still in its relative infancy, you're going to start to see a lot more nickel packages. You're going to see defenses start to back off, and then you'll be able to run with more effectiveness. I think the 49ers were already better run blocking today than they were last week. I think Dominic Pooney probably still working back a little bit from the knee issue. that obviously sidelined him after that Raiders game in the preseason. I think that the 49ers are finding their rhythm, and as personnel does return, and it ultimately should, and as their quarterbacks, who are both good, and Brock Purdy and Mack Jones keep on making defenses pay, the 49ers should start to develop more efficiency in the run game. You guys want to take a look at the Saints logo at the middle of the field, the fleur-de-lis? Here it is. The 50-yard line of the Louisiana Superdome. Look, we even have the boots out today. We can reach them. There they are. Cowboy boots, caiman skin, here in New Orleans. I got to flip this camera back around at me. I'm standing at midfield, and there you could see the Caesars logo right above me. This is just such a cool stadium. Now, so the 49ers had a pass to win this game. So we talk about the pass game, and we talk about what Mack Jones had to do. I thought several good timing throws within the context of the system. Now, there were a couple turnover plays that really were pivotal in how this game flowed. First, coming out of the break, Mack Jones sacked by Demario Davis. It was a strip sack. I thought it took him a really long time to get rid of the football on that one. He didn't quite have the mobility, right, that Brock Purdy has to avoid sacks like that. And I think that the timer for getting rid of the football is all the more important if you're somebody that's a little bit more limited in that regard as Mack Jones. That gave the Saints the ball coming out of halftime after the 49ers had driven down the field before the half with that excellent 2-minute drive. So it artificially opened another opportunity for New Orleans. But San Francisco made up for it later. We talk about closers. Fred Warner had an epic pass breakup on the final drive of the game to help set up the final Bryce Huff sack. So that was another closing effort. But Fred also forced that fumble from Alvin Kamara, and that was such a good review from Kyle Shanahan. Kamara had the ball like lodged up against his back or his helmet and didn't see Warner flying in. Jair Brown was tackling him, and Warner just flew in there and just smeared him, and the ball came out, and it was a close call, but the officials made the right call on that particular play, gave the 49ers the ball right back. And you know, in a game like this that is tightly contested, 26-21, I know this is a famous 49ers score, Super Bowl 16 over the Bengals, and the Dre Greenlaw game over the Seattle Seahawks in 2019. Speaking of 2019 vibes, in a game like this, those turnover possessions, those giveaways, takeaways are so huge, and it was important for the 49ers, critical even for the 49ers, to even the score in that regard. Fred had 11 tackles in this game. Nick Bosa had 9, which all of them seemed really, really big for the 49ers, seemed to come at big moments. D. Winters at 8, he was flying around to the football, but you know, one troublesome thing in the second half was some of these defensive penalties for the 49ers. It seemed that was really what fueled New Orleans to really move the football in the second half. You had D. Winters pushing Spencer Rattler out of bounds late, and then you had a very controversial illegal contact penalty against Upton Stout and another defensive penalty against Marquise Siegel. You know, you're gonna win some, and you're definitely gonna lose some with these younger players in key moments, and I think the 49ers definitely won quite a few today with Upton Stout, even with Marquise Siegel making some plays, but there were some losses for those guys as well. You know, I'm going to go sit down right now on the 49ers bench. They have a little bit of a mess here at the Superdome, but they haven't cleaned it up yet. My notebook, as you can see there, is sitting on the bench, and I could sit down and do the rest of this update from where the 49ers offensive linemen and defensive linemen were sitting when they weren't playing. But I mean, you look at Upton Stout, an awesome blitz early on. I mean, he's got the most bench press reps out of any 2025 rookie at the NFL scouting combine, right? So he was really strong in tossing Kamara aside and getting to Spencer Rattler. But then you saw the missed tackle from Upton Stout on the key fourth down from the Saints, where Rattler was able to juke inside and get him. And you know, we saw some growing moments from Upton Stout last week against the Seattle Seahawks. So there's going to be a high and a lower low effect that happens when you're dealing with rookies. But as the season goes along, that's going to smooth out, and especially with really good coaching like the 49ers have, you would ultimately expect the highs to be the primary thing that you see out of these rookies. Marquise Siegel, he got beat on the Juwan Johnson touchdown. Juwan Johnson is 6'4", Siegel is 5'11". I mean, that's the one, I think, bigger weakness of this new 49ers defensive personnel. They're running with shorter guys on the back end, but they're extremely fast and extremely violent. One other team, though, has a 6'4", big tight end like Juwan Johnson with a wide receiver's background, as Johnson did in college. He might be able to take advantage of that size mismatch, especially if the quarterback delivers a good throw. So the 49ers lost on reps like that, but then they won on huge reps of their own. And the end of the first half, moving this way down the field for San Francisco, moving toward that goalpost, that 2-minute drive. You know, somebody was saying on Twitter, I think that Kyle Shanahan is going to play it safe on this drive. No, he's not. Kyle Shanahan always pushes it when he has a chance to lap the opponent. He always tries to bleed the clock. He's obsessive about that, and he did both in this game. He bled the clock, saw Mack Jones execute the beautiful 2-minute drive. Christian McCaffrey scored the touchdown. I think it's still laughable that there were people who thought that Christian McCaffrey wasn't going to play last week. It was all Deke from the 49ers, and he's playing at a very, very high level. I mean, McCaffrey was straight up a wide receiver on some huge third down conversions today, and then on that red zone play for San Francisco right before halftime. That gave the 49ers the buffer that they needed in this football game. Of course, there was Eddie Piñeiro too. Special teams didn't screw it up. Piñeiro did miss an extra point. He's now missed 11 on his career, but he was booting those field goals, and that's what the 49ers need. I think both uprights were graced by Eddie Piñeiro field goal makes. They call him Eddie De Niro. They've gone from Money Moody to Eddie De Niro. 49ers beat the Saints 26-21. Speaking of De Niro, they're putting money in the bank. San Francisco has Arizona coming in next week, and maybe Brock Purdy will be back, but the main thing is 49ers, first place, NFC West, 2-0 record. So long from the Big Easy. But more food content from New Orleans is coming up. I don't fly out till noon tomorrow, so we'll talk to you guys very soon.
It was quick. Shout out to Hank and Drew, assistant coach. They really got me ready. A lot of extra time, and so they allowed me to feel really comfortable just from the start. And it was fun. It was fun. So shout out to those guys.
There's one play where you thought you were in motion and then you weren't, and then you were. What happened there?
Just a lot of newness for me. And so just listening in the huddle, got to make sure I know where I'm going. Sometimes you hear left, sometimes you hear right. Getting confused. So little things like that I'm still hashing out with being in the offense. But honestly, I like going through mistakes, feeling them, getting them out of the way. Understanding that, learning from that, helps me move forward. So I don't want to do it. I had to risk the timeout on one of them. So just little things like that I got to eliminate. But adversity and things like that help me grow, move forward. So.
I feel like your chemistry with Mack was what it has been before.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just still ironic to me that, we're teammates and stuff like that. So that connection's there, the trust, the understanding and things like that. So just having his back when he comes my way, just trying to be in the right spot. But just glad to be playing with that guy again. It definitely helped the transition for me.
There were a lot of moving parts with him. And Mark going out, Kyle Juszczyk going out. How much do you guys have to adjust on the fly?
Yeah, it moves fast. So shout out to the coaching staff. They really do a good job. Kyle, he draws up plays that have multiple pack personnel, so we're prepared. So when we study and when we review, I have to know certain things that Juice may do because I'm a smaller F size. So it's just really being ready. So shout out to Hank, shout out to assistant coach Drew again, just reviewing with me, making sure, hey, this one might come up. I don't know when it's gonna come up, but I have to be prepared in my mind. So shout out to Kyle and them. They do a good job of when something does happen, we've been ready for who's next.
How excited were you?
He's so close to what Juwan is like. What is it like being in the huddle with him?
Yeah, he that boy, man. Getting touchdowns, just having that energy is what we need. Playing hard, playing with energy, playing with effort. It just all comes together, and that's how you win. So I'm just glad to be around guys like him, Rafi, all these guys here, just helping me be better, just playing for each other.
How excited were you to get into the front of the boombox line?
Yeah, I was excited, bro. Shout out Trent, shout out to the hyena. Them boys just turned up, man. So I miss that energy, man. Things like that I took for granted. You know what I'm saying? That we're just different here, and I'm just happy to be back around it. Get you going, get your energy going, and just people having the same energy, connected. it just makes it even more
Now,
fun.
related question, Mack, I don't know if you noticed, Mack got in at the front.
Yeah, Matt got that swag now. Don't sleep on him. I saw Kyle talking about his suit and everything, so Matt got that swag. Matt knows what he's doing. He knows how to connect with us, and I think it's super important as a quarterback.
Anybody specific?
I mean, I did say both of them.
Two anyone.
To anybody? Who was I talking to? I might have been talking to Russ. I can't remember who was next to me. Or it might have been actually KB. One of them two.
You guys came out. I thought you guys would come out running it, but man, you came out throwing it. What did you think of the plan today?
I mean, I always like when they come out throwing the ball. I'm a White House, so I love it. Yeah.
Would you think? I mean, this was a game where a lot of people thought maybe this would be a fallback game. You guys really brought some intensity.
No, for sure. I mean, it's never a fallback game in this league. You know, you always got to be 10 toes down when you're playing in this league. You know, it's the best of the best, so you got to come with it each and every week.
There were some ups and downs with the rhythm and everything back out there, and it feel like it finally started getting going later in the second half.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I feel like we're going to have some of those things. You know, that was the first time, going out there with Mack. But I think we still connected on a lot of good throws. I think Mack did a really good job. He kept his composure. He was talking to the huddle a lot out there, and he's like, next play, let's go. And so I think that's really big for, Mack to step into that role and excel like he did. How many yards did he go?
It's well over 200. Was 300, three touchdowns.
Yeah, so yeah.
How was it to have KB and Juwan in the
It's awesome. I love it. Those are energy guys right there. They set the tone, and it's really fun when we go out to practice, go out to the games, and we're just dancing, vibing, having a good time, and go out there and play freely.
Does it feel better when you can win games in the NFL with two different?
would go in? What was the game plan there?
We put in a new package this week, big nickel. And coach wanted to see me there. Yeah. So it was a rotation. I've been still a nickel though. Gifford's still the base. So we're rotating a little bit, trying to give him some different looks.
Yeah, how did you like it?
I like it. I like the spot. I feel like it's natural for me. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're getting your momentum back, kind of getting back into it?
Yeah. Really, just getting back into it, man. And I'm ready to go. I'm always ready.
What do you think about Nick Bosa's performance today?
Both, man, that boy's special, man. He always do something special, So whenever it's the end of the game and we need somebody we can count on, either Bosa or Fred gonna come through, and make a play for us.
And then Fred's peanut punch out.
Yo, that dude crazy, man. He went and stole my shine. I thought I had me a nice little tackle. I thought I got it out for a minute, you know what I mean? But Fred come through with a punch out. He rep it so many times throughout the week, so to see him do it, it's no surprise for us.
Did you feel like that was the biggest momentum change in the game?
Yeah, I think that changed the game for real. Definitely swung the momentum our way, and we kind of kept it throughout the game after that.
Even under review, it seemed like you guys knew that was the call.
Fred was telling Kyle, like, no, I got that out. Like, so it was good to see the replay and great instincts by Kyle to, challenge it and get us the ball back.
Great.
Yep.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you.